When you first begin your YouTube channel, or you start on this venture into this realm of YouTube, you don't want to tell anyone. You don't want to tell your friends, and you don't really want to tell your family. It can feel very tempting too. You can certainly quite easily have the urge to tell everyone about it when you're doing it because it's all new and exciting. But trust me, keep your mouth shut and don't tell anyone about it. And if you give me a few minutes, I'm going to perhaps convince you that this is probably the right thing to do. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. The reality is that when you start a YouTube channel, not everyone's going to really understand why you're doing it. People are going to think it's a bit strange because it's completely out of the norm. YouTube is this thing that we all just casually consume on our phone. It's, you know, it's kind of like the new Google, isn't it? We're all drawn to it. If we have a problem, oh, I'm going to click on YouTube. I want to watch a video and I'm going to find out the solution to my problem. And as time has gone on, YouTube's been growing in the background, getting bigger and bigger every day. But it's you that has sat down and thought about this, and you've noticed a position that you could see yourself in. You've imagined yourself becoming a YouTube creator. And I'd also wager a bet that this isn't a decision that's happened overnight. You've had thoughts about becoming a creator for quite some time. And now you've decided to take that jump. I think as human beings, whenever we take up something that's brand new, you know, the inclining is to kind of go out and research it a little bit, to, you know, find out a little bit more before we kind of dip our toe into the great unknown, because obviously starting something new, we're not used to it. So you're going to understand a little bit more why you're taking that step and why you're becoming a creator. Less more than perhaps your family members or your close friends will understand. You know, they haven't looked into the benefits of it. They don't know how rewarding it could be, and they haven't got their crosshairs set on it, but you have. None of my friends, my close friends that I would call today, have I told any of them about my YouTube channel. I just haven't. YouTube is going to try and drag an audience to your channel. It's going to try and match your content with the ideal viewer, the kind of person that's going to watch it for as long as possible, that's going to perhaps hit like, spend more time on the platform, and ultimately allow YouTube to serve them more advertisements, because that's what their main goal is. That's how they make their money. If any close friends or family members are perhaps seeing your videos pop up after they've subscribed to you because you've asked them to, and they're not watching them all the way through, and perhaps they're only watching them for a few minutes and they don't engage, that is not going to do your analytics any good. It's not going to help the YouTube algorithm push your video out. It's going to confuse it. It's going to say, well, why aren't people watching this video? Oh, it can't be that good, you know? And say, for instance, if you are making a YouTube channel around a certain niche and your friends or your family, that it's not really their interest either. And ultimately, they're not really going to end up watching any of your videos in the future. You know, sure, they want to support you and, you know, give you a thumbs up, but that's not the kind of audience that you want if your intention is to grow a YouTube channel. If you're doing it as a hobby, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's where the confusion can come in, because a lot of people confuse growing a YouTube channel to just kind of having fun with it. I mean, you can have fun with it as well, but do you get what I mean? You have to help the YouTube algorithm early on discover an audience for you. And you know, the quicker you get an audience, it's going to help all of your videos just, you know, reach people a lot more easy. Everyone has a different perspective on YouTube, okay? And it's strange really, because here's an example, okay? When I was recording one of my videos a few weeks back, I happened to come across someone when I was out walking like this, and I had the camera in my hand. And as I walked past them, they looked at me like I was some sort of a weirdo. They gave me a strange look. And yeah, no, sure, I get why they would, because I know that's why I choose to do it out here, because you know, it's not considered normal. Anyway, I thought to myself after that interaction happened, I thought, I'm pretty sure that you watch YouTube. I mean, most people do. It's a general assumption, but I think you probably watch YouTube. But this is how content is created right here, you know, on a small scale. Someone like me with a camera, perhaps, talking head video, giving some information. But you see it in reality. You don't see it on a screen. When you actually see it in front of you as like as a presented reality, everyone thinks you're weird. I've told my partner that I've got a YouTube channel, and she kind of just nodded and said, okay, fair enough. Don't expect support or be angry if the ones closest to you don't give you support if you do decide to tell them that you've got a YouTube channel, because that's perhaps not what they're into. We all have different interests. We all have different things that we like. And I know that starting a YouTube channel can feel like quite a big thing. It did for me when I first started. It felt like a massive step. And I think we reach out for that support naturally as human beings from the people that, you know, we deem closest to us. But don't be surprised if they don't give you the reaction that you want, okay? And as for a lot of, you know, friends outside of that close circle, I heard a saying that I thought that hit the nail on the head really. You know, no one cares about your YouTube journey until you turn up in a Lamborghini. I mean, that's a bit of a perspective, you know, sentence for you, but it kind of makes sense because they don't. And at the end of the day, if you're happy to tell your friends about it, about your YouTube channel, because it's something you feel that will benefit you, then go ahead and do it. But I advise against it. Your friends and family will want to support you, okay? But no one will care about your YouTube channel. The people that care about your YouTube channel are the people that will find the value in it, that need the help and the support on the topic that you are presenting and discussing on camera. I'd like to assume you're here today because you want to better yourself in your YouTube journey. You want to learn a few things. That's why you're watching me talking to you now. You know, you're not here because, you know, you want to learn how to skydive. That was a really rubbish idea, that one, that comparison. Different ends of the spectrum. And don't dive too hard into this whole YouTube thing to begin with. It is one huge learning curve. There's so much to it. There's so many different moving parts. I'm learning something every 1 or 2 videos that I'm doing. I'm trying different techniques. I'm trying them all. And I advise you to do the same, you know. But don't go out and do something stupid like quit your job because you want to be a YouTuber. That's not, I'm not sure. I can understand where the intention might be. Perhaps you want to, you know, get monetized on YouTube and make a full-time career of it. There's nothing wrong with having that ambition. I mean, I admire it to some extent, but you know, don't go and quit your full-time job, the job that you rely on, that pays your bills, that keeps your lifestyle running as it should be. If perhaps you start a channel that becomes successful and as time goes on you gain traction and it grows and it allows you to do that, then fine. But don't just throw yourself all in at YouTube out of choice, you know, and decide to quit your job. I mean, all this can feel very scary. Putting yourself out there to be ridiculed, you know, on one of the biggest platforms in the world for people to be able to see your videos. You really are putting yourself out there. And it is very natural to just want to lean on the people that are close to you and speak to them about you starting that YouTube journey. Just keep the loud talk to a minimum as you post your videos, as you go through your first 5 and into your first 10 videos. Try and take a few notes from each one of them as you're doing them. Say to yourself, okay, perhaps look at your numbers, look at your analytics in YouTube Studio and say to yourself, okay, some of my audience is dropping off at the start of this video. My video retention isn't that good. Why is that? Perhaps I need to work on my introduction. Perhaps I need to work on a hook that's going to kind of encapsulate my audience a little bit better and entice them to watch for longer. Every single video, and you need to look at it this way, this is a great piece of advice. Every single video that you post on YouTube has a lesson in it, especially in your early days. There's a lesson that's hidden in there within the analytics, within the audience retention, within the views, within the way that you shot it, the way that you spoke, the way that you laid your video, whether you read from a script off the top of your head, whether you read from bullet points. Just remember the different ways and the different stages, how you approached each video, and then look at the outcome from it and see what the results were, notice what worked and notice what didn't, and then take those small pieces and apply them then to your next video. Every single video should be, to some extent, an experiment. You know, I must admit, the videos that I've shot, I haven't just gone and replicated them again and again and again. I haven't just shot them the same way, you know, scripted them all the time, and I've switched between bullet points and things like that. But for example, if you were to try 100 pieces of different flavored chocolate, then you're more likely to find 5 that are perfect for you, that are going to work. If you just stick to 10 and try to work on them and master them and try to learn to like them, you're not going to have this vast array of knowledge. You're not going to have this experience. It's this time, this process, this growing phase that turns you into the YouTuber that you will become. And procrastination from picking up a camera and, you know, just kind of getting on with it is going to hold you back. It did for me for a while. A martial arts master doesn't become a black belt overnight. It's a process. And you need to get out of your head the idea that you're going to put a video on YouTube and it's suddenly just going to blow up and it's going to get hundreds of views. That is the anomaly. That does not happen often. And you can be very sucked in by people and YouTube gurus that will show you ways to make your video viral, you know, how to make the best next video to get you lots of views. You know, it's out there. I've seen them on YouTube. I know who you are, guys. I've seen your stuff. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if you just create content with the sole purpose of just waiting for the next video to blow up, you're never going to enjoy it and you're never going to grow. Because ultimately you should be here because you enjoy this experience. You have to learn to love the process. That is what's going to help you stick around. That's what's going to help you last in this game. It's what's going to make you fall in love with this YouTube thing. After you've gone through the process of making 10 to 15 videos and you've sat back and you've realized that, You know, views can come slowly, and this is like planting a seed. You know, it takes a while for it to grow into, you know, a glorious tree. Once you get past this stage, this is where it separates a lot of people from whether they stick to it or whether they don't. Because you kind of realize, this is a long game. This isn't a sprint, this is a marathon. And unless I'm happy with not getting the results that I'm seeing all the time, this isn't for me. And that's when people can drop out. Work in silence and let success make the noise. You know what? I admire you if you've recorded the first couple of videos after doubting yourself for a very long time and you've actually got to the stage where you've posted them. I respect that because I know exactly how that feels. I know how dreading it can feel when you're kind of hovering over that button, when you click it and you first post it, and that feeling, and there's a lot that goes on. And I appreciate that and I recognize that. Just keep posting, just keep recording. Every single video that you post is going to be a valuable piece of information that you can look back on, analyze, grow from, and make the next one 1% better. And say, post 100 videos. Come back to me and tell me when you've posted 100 videos. I haven't got there yet, but I'd like to think that perhaps my content's got further, I've grown, you know, and just enjoy the process, man. Just get out there and enjoy YouTube. And if you haven't already, check this video out right here, where I go into a little bit more depth about just a few basic skills you need to master for when you first step in front of the camera. Thanks for watching. Until next time.